nipple areola continuum.
Scott, what are you just dropping the ball? Did you forget your lines?
I must have.
So long writing this script.
No motivation.
God damn it!
Just not
Start
the
it
actor I
over.
thought I was.
Cut!
God damn it, Bobby! Thank you, everyone. That was my wonderful King of the Hill impression.
Nice.
Well, my test rolls reveal a 15, a 19, and a 20. So.
Oh my
Good to
god!
go.
I thought you said something different.
Oh,
Test
okay.
rolls. Test rolls.
It's gonna be a good night.
I have
Nipples
not.
Oh, man.
It looks like there's some discussion that if there's a ring of nipple tissue left over, it will grow back as a nipple. But if there's no surrounding nipple tissue, it just scars over because all it knows how to grow is skin there.
That's all it's ever known. All I've ever known is nipple farming and nipple growing.
Nipples.
Nipple farming.
When they pop out of the ground, we harvest them, and then we grow them right back up, just like my pappy and his grandpappy.
Well, I now have
Yeehaw.
the words in my next character.
Oh,
A nipple farmer. Well, it's more than welcome if it's my campaign.
Oh, man. All right.
Actually, it's encouraged.
We need
I'm going to
go
have a
off
nipple
fire.
farmer only campaign.
And welcome to the stream. The conversation's been going on far longer than the stream has.
Far longer than it should have, as well.
Oh, goodness.
So now that the stream's up and running, why don't we get that wonderful, wonderful recap that we've all been waiting so eagerly for?
Yeah. Alrighty. Should probably turn to the right page. There we go. Alright. Last session, we started off in the carriage that we had hired to take us from Restrum up to the northern coast so that we could hire a ship to give us passage over into Ord. After arriving at a small fishing village, we learned about a merchant that could help us get access to a ship, and we went and talked with him and haggled with him a little bit on pricing to no avail, and ended up just paying the full price to get on the ship. After that, we set off for Ord. We got our various roles assigned to us on the ship, and started sailing. I think about halfway through our voyage to Ord, we ran into a Hydra, and it started boarding the ship pretty much as soon as it saw us. And thankfully, we were able to kill it due to a quick reaction on our part and Ulfgar's insane damage output. And yeah, from there, not much happened. We've just killed the Hydra, went back to work, and ended up ending with the party sailing into port in the capital city of Ord. And yeah, it's like the middle of the night, and we were making our way to an inn of some sort. I think we actually made it to the inn, and Puncho discovered that there is a lot of like a big fighting culture in this city. So he's been excited about that. Also, we met Puncho last week, a sailor on the ship that we boarded to get to Ord, and after seeing us fight so valiantly against the Hydra, he decided to join the party. And so, yeah, that's where we left off. We're in Ord, in the capital city, and hopefully this week we can get in contact with the leader guy, I presume a baron, and hopefully he can help us with our little errand problem, because he's an annoying little shit and we want to get rid of him.
and don't forget about the daddy juice.
Yes. Lots of daddy juice.
It's very important.
Extremely.
We can see
It's
what
the
Jen
new
had.
plot point.
Yeah, it's in my notes, so.
Yeah, forget the sock store. We are going full daddy juice bar.
Oh, man.
I mean, I would have been down to open up a sock store, but somebody had to take away my chest of infinite socks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Black Rose, right?
You meanie.
Those nefarious jerks.
What? It's not like the Black Rose took it. It was on my horse, and then we come back and it's just gone. Nothing else was missing, just the socks.
Well, with the dragon phalanx not really around to police, stuff
Yeah.
happens.
Over there, Scott.
It's like
You
living in
gotta-
Detroit.
You gotta keep stuff you want on you so that it's easier to steal and less story changing.
That's fair. I was
this
ready
is-
to derail the campaign.
So that the
To
suspension
set up
of
that shop.
disbelief can be maintained.
Oh man. Alrighty.
Yeah, so it's morning.
Woohoo.
I'm going back to sleep.
Oh,
Alright.
that's next morning.
We're playing this session without Val, I guess.
Didn't get much sleep last night.
Nah. Kept dreaming I was a bird.
Caw.
Kept me up. I also dreamed we had a little shit in our party. But,
Yeah, get out of here, Puncho.
Wow.
seeing
Poor
as
Puncho.
that was not a dream, I'm going back to sleep for my depression nap.
Depression nap.
Rip. Alrighty. Well,
We did get drums, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
do any of us know how to contact the head honcho around here?
The Lord?
Could ask some guards or something.
Alright.
Hey, Adeline, what is it still be royal protocol? What does protocol state for contacting a fellow duke?
Oh,
Yeah. You
Scott?
being
I have no idea. Adeline probably no. Nobility.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably she would respond something along the lines of, well, normally like a courier would go ahead of the group and, get everybody prepared for the dignitaries to arrive. But you're neither dignitaries, nor do you have a courier. So, yeah. Probably gonna have to put in for an audience like the peasants do.
Well, looks like we're going with plan B. Break.
I don't think we need a plan or anything. We just drop the little shit off at the doorstep.
You know what?
They'll figure it out.
Good ass idea.
I'd like to make sure he'll be safe.
Oh, it's a castle. He'll be safe.
Yeah, he's right at the Baron's doorstep.
as much as I want to agree with everybody else, we probably should make sure that he'll be safe.
In how many pieces will you be leaving him at the doorstep?
Oh, it shouldn't be more than 2 or 3. Come now.
Well, how much would it be to rent a catapult? Just launch him over. That's probably safer. Maybe strap a pillow onto him for safe landing.
Where is Aaron at the moment?
Oh, he's with you.
Damn
Yeah,
it.
he's just glaring at you all, like the kid from The Omen.
I glared.
I look down at him and say, wouldn't that be fun? Like a little ride.
Yeah, he spits on you.
Oh, I'm sure you love it. As I kind of just forcefully just kick Are we outside, like near a road?
If you want to be, yeah.
I just like kick as much like dust and dirt into sort of his face as possible.
I'm gonna start standing.
I pressed to digitate it before it can get on him.
Okay. I'm gonna start standing between Puncho and Aaron at all times.
The second you do that, I'm like, oh, where did he go? Well, thank God he's gone. Okay, everyone, let's go.
All right. I'm gonna ask a guard or something where the resident of the or the residency of the Baron might be, so that we can go and try to request an audience with him.
Yeah, okay. So you kind of flag down a peasant sort of person. They're fairly well dressed, but clearly, kind of lower class. And you ask where the Baron lives, and he kind of looks at you funny, and he turns around and he points at the skyline, and he says, "You see the big castle towers? In there."
Right.
That
How
makes
do we
sense.
get there?
Yeah, walk.
He says, "You got feet, don't you?"
That's good enough for me. If we all have feet, let's get in there.
All right.
I'm afraid that's the only thing we can do.
A direct approach is usually the most effective.
Or it gets
Certainly the
killed.
least slow.
As long as everyone behaves. I look at Puncho and I look at Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron sticks his tongue out at you.
I just take a swig of daddy juice.
Of course you do.
Yeah, so you guys are sort of setting off.
Yeah.
Hopefully everyone's looking their best.
I always look my best.
Well, of course.
Can I get some prestidigitation over here?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and clean everybody off.
Yeah, so you wager by the size of the towers on the horizon that it's really not that far away from the shore, where the piers and whatnot are. And you really only had to walk about 5 minutes to get to the inn that you stayed at anyway. So you sort of set off. You begin heading towards the large, I guess palace would be more the word. And as you do, you sort of keep an eye out and watch around and sort of look at all of the buildings and stuff as you go, because the architecture here is very different from Tangaria. It's clear that this is sort of like a kind of a hodgepodge of styles. There's a lot of elven influence, so the buildings are stone and they're somewhat blocky, but the humans and the few dwarves that live here have also sort of influenced the architecture over the years, and so a lot of the buildings too have sort of a more curved corners and kind of angular stepped sides. It seems like the route that you've chosen to take leads you primarily through like a residential area of the city, and the residences here kind of vary. When you first set off, the homes and the people living in them seem a little bit more, I guess, common. They don't have much money. There's a lot more like clothing drying from the windows and sort of what are those called? The ropes you dry stuff on. For some reason that word is escaping my mind.
Clothesline?
Clothesline.
Clotheslines. There we go. There's a lot of clotheslines stretched between buildings. Man, I don't know why I couldn't think of that word.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. That's like 10th grade.
Yeah. Thanks.
Don't worry, buddy.
Wow.
I'd just blame the holidays.
And Puncho gets hit by lightning.
He's made out of rubber.
Punches it.
hmm?
He punches it back.
Yeah. Lightning is now dead.
But yeah, so there's a bunch of kids sort of playing out in the streets and the corridors between the buildings. There's they all seem to be playing a game. It sort of resembles a cross between baseball and golf, with a little bit of kickball thrown in there. And it seems like they're having just a great old time. And as you pass through sort of the more poor areas and get closer to the palace, the houses become a little cleaner. Well, not so much houses. They're like large buildings. They start to become cleaner, and there's less clothes hanging out to dry. You start to see people dressed very much like maids and butlers, and they're cleaning, like windows and sweeping off the steps. The people that you pass in the street have begun to be wearing like more ornate clothing, so a lot more like fur and vibrant colors and things. After probably about 10 minutes of walking or so, you're very close to the Baron's palace, and you're now in sort of like the really high class area. The clothing is very, very nice. It's exquisitely hemmed and very nicely embroidered. Before, everyone you had passed was unarmed, and now you're seeing a lot of people carrying very, very ornately made like rapiers and sabers, and there's a lot of people in sort of foreign to you military garb. It appears to be more like dress uniforms rather than like actual, out in the battlefield sort of deals. Lots of colors, feathers from birds you've never seen before. Before too much longer, you find yourselves at the front entrance to the Baron's palace, and the front wall has a large oval-topped door, and it's wide open. Though there are two very elegantly dressed guards standing on either side. Think like Vatican police, where they have the really goofy uniforms. But these are red and gold.
I don't think I've ever seen Vatican police.
I'm Googling it right now.
Yeah.
I was
They
as well.
they apparently carry halberds, because that's going to stop someone.
That's what Edeline has.
Oh man, they sure look goofy.
Right?
Damn, those are small halberds.
They sure are.
That would probably kill a seagull, maybe. That's probably like their biggest concern is like pigeons pooping in the circle.
The guy on the
Well-
right is real proud.
They originally only had the axe head, but they added the point to keep birds from landing on them.
Really?
No. No, I'm making that up.
I mean, I thought that would be hilarious if that was actually the case.
Oh, man.
Birds being a-religious and all.
It's true.
Fucking birds. Only doves are religious.
Not even
my.
doves.
Damn.
All right. Well,
I'm glad we could go on that tangent.
Yeah.
did the guards try to stop us?
I don't know. Are you walking through the door, or have you? Because as I've described it, you've stopped at the entrance.
Oh, I was just going to stroll right in.
I reach up and knock on one of their helmets. Hello?
Oh, no.
God damn it, Val.
I go ahead and I punch one of their heads off.
Oh, no.
We're trying to
I'm,
drop the kid off.
I'm trying to separate the jokes from the reality here. What are people actually doing?
Excuse me, we seek audience with the Duke. Yeah, whichever one's closest to me.
Yeah, so you address the one on the right, and he looks down at you, and first he has sort of a puzzled expression, and then he kind of smiles. You assume because he sees your vibrantly colored hair,
Mm-hmm.
and he then he sort of takes on a serious face, and with a slight frown, he says, "And what business have you with the Duke, or the?"
We're here to drop off a kid.
We're his baby daddies.
Alright,
Dude, we need to
Don't-
bring all of these people with us.
don't mind them. They're idiots.
I ain't no idiot. We came here to drop off a kid. He's some sort of royalty.
Can you not say that outside?
That he's royalty or that he's a kid. I think both are pretty obvious.
At least one of them is applicable.
How far behind me is Puncho?
That's up to you guys.
I'm stopped. I'm like right next to Ulfgar.
Ulfgar is
Yeah.
face palming so hard.
In that case, I don't cast Silence centered on Puncho.
Yeah, so the guard seems confused by just this flurry of voices and talking.
I clearly state again. He is royalty and he needs to be taken care of.
Puncho, shut up for like 5 minutes, please.
I'll start counting.
Wow.
Adeline, do you have some like official like seal that says who you are? Proof that Aaron is who he says he is?
People
I
don't
hope.
believe dragons.
I'm Dragon Phalanx. They should trust me right away, right? It's obvious what I am.
Yeah.
Well, you're
You,
obviously dragonborn. I mean, I assume
Well,
She
that
is wearing the armor.
Yeah, I got
Oh.
the specific armor and insignia on my shield.
Though I would
Uh,
assume that she would have tried to obscure that via something for the meeting with the merchant and the boat ride.
Okay, yeah,
You are a hunted commodity, so
that's true. Yeah.
I'm gonna get up closer to the guard and I'm gonna say quietly to him, "We're traveling with the rightful Baron of Tingaria, and we seek counsel with the Baron Lord."
he kind of furrows his brow and he looks at you, and then he looks at Aaron, and he looks at Adeline, and he starts to piece it together. Dragonborn kid. He can tell even through what I assume is a very thin sort of cloak on Adeline that she's wearing fairly heavy armor and is carrying a halberd. And so he kind of nods, and he turns to the other guard and he nods to the guard to the left, and that guard sort of turns and runs into the palace.
Great. They think we've kidnapped him.
The guard on the right then turns back to you and says, go inside and wait at the center of the like the square in the palace grounds.
Thank you, sir. And I'll start making my way inside.
Thank you. Have a good day. Come on, Puncho. You can talk
I sort of
again.
just I nod at them. And I shake my head. It obviously has not been 5 minutes.
Good.
I am a man of my word.
The guard nods at you all as you pass.
Classic Poncho.
Classic in the one session that we've seen. He's staying true to his character.
Classic Ryan.
Oh.
Did the guard have any like insignia on him?
Oh,
No, he actually didn't.
they could be fake guards.
Damn.
No.
This palace is all a ruse.
Name the first 5 kings. Fake guard.
Triggers me.
You do see though that there are banners flying, that are in the same red and gold.
Oh, no rose scrolled
No.
on. Oh,
They're all Gryffindors. Alright,
In that case, I am.
there's my
What's
Harry
that?
Potter reference for the night.
only
Thank
one.
you. Yeah, thank you for making it only
Come
one.
on, it's a Harry Potter weekend on Freeform.
Okay, fam.
It's
Who
a Harry
watches
Potter
Freeform?
weekend on Freeform every other weekend. That
Yeah,
is
That's
that
like
is
the
not
only
a
thing they have, right?
Yeah, they clearly have like bought the rights to show it, and that's all they show now.
They're gonna get their money's worth.
Yeah, they are milking that for everything. Goodness.
Yep, I lead Aaron in with me.
Right, yeah, and so you very quickly see what he meant by the center of the square in the palace grounds. As you enter through sort of the outer wall, and it's fairly thick, you are greeted to a very large marble, square in front of the palace. It's a huge, massive thing, and in the center of the marble square, inlaid in red and gold, is a large, very ornate circle.
Big shapes.
To the left of the square seems to be some form of stable, and there's a bunch of horses and a few men working there with them. To the right of you is like a series of doors running along the wall, and next to the doors a small window. Roll a history check, everybody. With
Little do you know
disadvantage
that's-
for Puncho.
I was going to say, little did you know, that's Puncho's expertise.
10.
11.
Oh boy.
That's going to be a 1, but not a natural failure.
Is that's your specialty? What?
Oh, that's a joke.
Oh, okay.
I have a -1.
I got a 13.
Okay.
Can I use stone cutting?
No, not for this.
I got a 20, non-natural.
Okay, well then you get to describe it to everybody who seems to sort of look curiously at this wall of doors. You recognize it to be sort of the like the apartments for the workers that live at the house, maids, butlers, possibly even the stable hands. That's where they stay.
What about the stable feet?
Nope, they get made into stew.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a hard knock
That's
life for stable
unfortunate.
feet. Right. So, yeah, and of course, directly in front of you is the main building itself. It runs the entire length between the walls, and it seems to stretch all the way to the back of the building because it's a building, and that's how they work. It's about 3 stories tall, or so it seems. It's kind of hard to tell. It looks like there's an additional story on the top, though there isn't a row of windows. The bottom floor, or ground floor, has a very ornate marble column sort of porch deal. It's not quite a deck, but it's big, and it's marble, and it's very pretty. And there are like pillars, like Roman columns, that kind of line the front. It's sort of like a plantation house, in a sense, but less southern, and made of marble, like real actual marble, not just white masonry.
Or like if a plantation house was built in the south of France or something.
Right, like a very, very wealthy person's house from like that period. And you see like a flurry of people just sort of running around doing stuff. But it all seems pretty standard. Rich person, wealthy, barony kind of thing, house, household chores. And after just a few moments of standing there, a very well dressed emissary type person comes out with a big smile on his face, and he sort of shouts over the noise of the bustle and hustle of the workers in here. Welcome, welcome, and he smiles, and he's specifically addressing Aaron. He seems to be more or less ignoring you guys.
Yeah, thanks for the welcome.
I wave nicely at him.
Yeah, he basically ignores you.
It's understandable. I have fuck on one of the hands around, so.
I
Yeah.
basically just stand at attention, as a guard for Aaron.
Right.
We brought him here and everything, but whatever.
I just kind of look expectantly at Aaron and Adeline.
I'm staring off into the distance.
Yeah, so as the emissary approaches you, he's smiling very broadly and happily, and he does a sort of a flourishing bow to Aaron, and he looks to you and he says, the Baron awaits your oh boy, DM another good old fashioned mind fart. Audience.
Present?
There we go. Audience.
Oh.
That's the word I was looking for. And yeah, he rises from the bow and he sort of holds his arm out towards the door, sort of a lead on kind of a deal. And Aaron just sort of glares at him and then walks away from you guys. And as there's sort of a gap that's formed between you guys and Aaron, the emissary sort of steps into that place and continues walking behind Aaron to the door.
I follow the emissary.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow
he's
him.
gone.
I'm right behind Aaron. I'm keeping distance between Aaron and Puncho.
I kind of tap the emissary on the shoulder as we're walking over, and I kind of offer him a swig of my daddy juice.
He kind of smiles and then shakes his head and holds up a hand and says, "No, thank you."
I whisper and I say, 3 minutes with the kid and you'll need it. Trust me.
He just smiles and continues on.
I just kind of raise my eyebrows at Puncho.
And also, to be clear, Adeline, the emissary steps in front of you. Not in like an abrupt no, you can't follow him way, but in like he's doing his job and that's where he stands.
Okay.
Yeah, so you guys enter the palace, and the house is very lavish, which is probably pretty standard for barons. There's a lot of very nice tapestries, and the floor is marble, and it's inlaid with like a very dark granite. And there's sort of depictions of various animals, things of that nature, on the tops of the walls, lining the this like main room are the heads of a lot of beasts, very well taxidermied, but fairly gruesome because a lot of them are like really scary monsters. Things that you wouldn't expect to see in a palace. You'd expect to see like elks and moose and deers and things like that, but these are like proper monsters. Some of which you guys have fought. There's a Hydra head up there, and a few other things that sort of stand out.
Did we keep a Hydra head at all?
Hmm?
Did we keep a Hydra head at all?
Well, I kept some of the bones.
Yeah, I think you kept parts of it, but I don't think you kept the whole head.
As we passed by one of the uglier heads, I kind of remarked to whoever's kind of walking with me. I'm like, Aunt Agatha, is that you? And then I kind of like slapped my belly a bit as I chuckled to myself.
Yeah, you in fact you do that to the head of a hag.
Yeah.
You just happen to be named Agatha.
Well, there's a little brass plaque only on this head, and it says hag Agatha. Hagatha, in fact.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a shame that she had to die.
Yeah, sorry, Aunt Agatha.
Yeah.
Sad part is she wasn't a real hag. She just looked like him.
Rest in peace.
So, walking through to the back of this room, you climb a set of marble stairs, and even on the stairs, there's like inlay on sort of the sides of the steps near the banisters, and up the middle is a red velvet carpet. And it doesn't look like it was just rolled out. It's just part of the house's decorations. As you reach the top of the stairs, there are doorways to your right and left that seem to go into smaller rooms. But the emissary sort of jumps ahead of Aaron, and he swings open wide the main center door, and it's huge. It's a big, heavy oak door. On the other side is sort of a grand like banquet room. At the far back of that is a large throne, and sitting in that throne is a tall half-elf man. He has very, very well-maintained blonde hair. He's wearing sort of purple robes, and they're very regal and long, and they're trimmed with like mink fur. Sitting beside him in a smaller like throne is a young boy who, much like the half-elf man, has sort of long blonde hair and is wearing sort of a purple, like a three-piece suit, but for like a boy. And the pants are those like short ones with the long socks, pantaloons maybe, I don't know. And he's got shiny black shoes on, and he's kind of sitting there in his chair and he's kind of kicking his feet. He seems bored. The emissary steps again in front of everyone, kind of halting you, and announces Aaron, and then steps to the side of the room and takes a seat in like a small clawfoot chair. Aaron then walks forward the length of the room until he's, I don't know, about 10 feet or so away from the throne. And he just sort of glowers at the Baron.
I kind of bark out, watch out for a spin.
Yeah. You can't really see that he's glowering, but I think you've all spent enough time with Aaron to know that that's probably what's happening.
We just know.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like an alpaca that way. Spits a lot.
You just gotta spit back at him. Shows dominance.
Be quiet.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Edeline, knowing sort of proper court etiquette, follows Aaron with the rest of the group until you're probably a good 20 feet behind Aaron, and you all sort of form a line, sort of watch, see what's about to happen, and it'd probably be Edeline that addresses the Baron from this distance.
Sir, we have brought Aaron Udheim. We had hoped that oh boy, you're putting this all on me. We'd heard that you owed the previous Baron of Tengaria a favor. She kind of falters.
Yeah, he's kind of watching Aaron, and every now and then he'll sort of glance at you, and he's got kind of a bemused smile on his face.
Take the shot.
No.
Wait, like do you take a shot of alcohol is what you're saying? Or you like take a shot at him with like an Eldritch Blast?
No.
Good ideas.
I'm telling him to take the shot.
Oh, gotcha. Because I'm taking a swig of daddy juice.
Yeah. The Baron kind of looks at you with a confused look and just sort of just kind of waves it off, like kind of shakes his head, like whatever.
At me drinking?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I apologize for some of my companions.
I wave.
They did help bring Aaron safely here.
Yeah. The Baron kind of holds up a hand and he sort of reaches up and kind of scratches his chin. He leans forward in his chair and sort of looks closer at Aaron and says, and for the first time, says anything. Addressing Aaron, he says, "Please, come forward. Let me get a better look at you." And Aaron sort of reluctantly complies. You can't tell this because it's going on in his head, but he's sort of unsure whether to break protocol because that's annoying, or to stand there and disregard because that's annoying. And he's sort of balancing these in his head, like which one's more annoying. In the end, though, he does end up walking forward quite a bit closer until he's about 3 feet or so away from the Baron, who still leaned forward, and he kind of gets up from his chair and paces around Aaron a couple of times, and he's kind of nodding, sort of sizing him up, I guess, and he kind of stands in front of Aaron, looking down at him with his arms crossed, and he again rubs his chin, and he says, "Is this true, Aaron? You want to you seek protection here?" And Aaron just kind of looks up at him and he says, "I don't know, I guess." And the Baron kind of smiles and he shakes his head like, "Okay." And a few more moments of the Baron kind of staring at him, before, in sort of a flash of movement, the Baron produces a dagger and just stabs him right between the eyes, full force, and sort of buries it in there.
I kind of just stand there. I have no clue what the plan was for him, so I just assumed that this was, the end goal.
You know what?
And I kind of just nod.
Oh my god. Well, I immediately attack.
The Baron sort of reacts to the group's, I would assume, shock.
Yeah.
I'm not shocked.
He holds up a bloody hand, and then produces, switches it from like an open hand to just a finger, and he reaches into his robes and he pulls out sort of a folded up piece of parchment, and he kind of tosses it over Aaron's dead body to Edeline's feet.
I don't know whether to be amused or not.
Oh man. Just regular parchment?
I'm gonna step in between, and I'll, kind of holding one hand up to Edeline, pick up the piece of parchment. Let's find out what it says.
Yeah, the Baron kind of like turns around and walks back to his seat, and as he's doing so, he kind of flips his hand at you guys, and he says, "Read it aloud."
Okay, I read it aloud.
Yeah, and what you read is sort of surprising to everyone. It appears to be a letter from the Eric Kudheim's wife. Her name was Isabella, by the way. And she's asking, this Baron, for advice. It seems she had a breach of fidelity and slept with someone who was not the king. And doesn't really know how to react, like what to do. She doesn't know if she should tell the Baron that the baby that she's carrying is not his. And about midway through the letter, it's revealed that the actual father of the boy was none other than everyone's favorite friend, the Regent.
No.
Dun dun dun. Well,
Oh.
I'd say our jobs are finished.
Not quite.
We can get back to our lives.
So the Baron kind of snaps his fingers, and the emissary that that had led you in sort of runs up, kind of hopping over Aaron's body, still sort of pooling blood in the center of the floor, gold dagger sticking from his forehead. And the emissary leans in sort of deep to the over the Baron, and you hear the Baron say, "Send word to Slurn that if they want to make a move, now would be the time." And he hands him like a note as well, and the emissary kind of bows and sort of runs off out the front door.
Well,
Can't
Does
believe it.
anyone else know about the child's parentage?
Are you asking the Baron?
Yes.
The Baron nods, and he says, "As far as I know, only one. And that would be the Snake in the Grass Regent."
Val looks over to Edeline and says, "See, this doesn't even make the frog thing seem that serious, huh?"
well,
It's at this point that I'm kind of confused. I go, wait, this wasn't what was supposed to happen?
So
Not quite.
So the Baron looks to Edeline and and he says, "You how long were you the caretaker for Aaron?"
Not long at all.
And what did you hear of the death of Aaron's mother?
I heard she had died in childbirth.
He kind of frowns and shakes his head and says, "No, she was murdered."
Murdered.
He says the regent couldn't let the truth get out. He didn't want to lose his position. He let Eric raise Aaron as his own, but it's hard to hide such a colorful personality, wouldn't you say?
I admit he was nothing like his father, but I thought I would protect him anyway. I can't believe it. All this time we were protecting that slime's offspring.
He frowns and nods. And doing a wonderful job, I might add. At least 5 assassins were dispatched, and apparently none of them could succeed.
Was the Hydra one of them?
No.
Highly doubt that.
Yeah.
Sir, I apologize for attempting to attack. I was out of
He
line.
sort of shrugs and says, "Well, I understand."
So,
Ulfgar's gonna stop pacing for a moment and go, do you have a wizard or a sorcerer who could teleport something? And a big old grin comes across Ulfgar's face. I'd like to send the body back to the regent, dagger and all.
Yeah.
Blood first.
The Baron, whose name is Alazam, by the way. I don't think I ever told you that. The emissary probably would have made that known, and it slipped my mind. Alasam, by the way.
LASAM.
ALASAML.
He kind of smiles, but he shakes his head and he says, a great idea, but I would prefer if the brunt of the battle was directed at Slurn. My militia, while well maintained, is no match for the mercenaries that the region has hired.
you intend to let the entire army of Slurn march through Tingaria to get to the region?
Well, more or less, yeah.
And what of the citizens of Tingaria?
Well, provided the region's mercenaries don't pillage them, I don't see why they would be harmed at all.
The regent is currently taking slaves for something, and probably not just conscripting them into his army.
Yes, my the spies have made this aware to me. There have been shipments via boats, but we've had a tough time following them.
Do you have plans for the Tungarian government after the regent is killed?
Me? No, not at all. No, I don't want anything to do with it.
Is there an ambassador to Slurn here in the
Here?
capital?
No.
Well, do you know of any plans of what is to become of the Tungarian government?
I assume it will be dissolved completely and replaced with Slurnish rule. Why wouldn't it be?
Well, then you'd be real surrounded.
I can't let that happen. There has to be some less destructive way to dethrone the regent.
What do you have in mind? He's surrounded by an army of mercenaries, defended by his own private military on top of his mercenaries, and set about in a fortress in the middle of a city, surrounded by civilians.
And he's also Black Rose.
Ah,
Right. That
Um,
was the private military implication.
I'm going to take my haversack off. I'm going to reach in and I'm going to pull out the stack of papers. But we have his schedule for the next, 6 months or so. Right? Is that how long it was?
a schedule?
A year.
It's quite a while. Like, is it a
Everything.
year?
It might have been a year. I'd have to find my post-it notes. Not in my notebook.
Wasn't it out of order though?
And it has
Some of it
no
was burned.
timestamps.
Yeah,
Yeah, some of it's missing.
Well, no, it has the times,
but not like.
but it
date.
doesn't date.
I think we decided it would be too difficult to try to sort through it and find like patterns and stuff. Need to ship it off to Michael if he's not that crazy. Thinking out of character, I don't know Michael.
I thought we organized it for the most part, like brushing his teeth, breakfast,
I know that was
Maybe.
discussed, but I think you decided that would take forever.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think we really had the time to do that. I mean, it was a lot of
You
paper.
could just get another genie.
Yeah, because that's
Just pulling off the genie tree.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, let's wish upon a star here, people. It's not impossible. You know that.
oh man.
Adeline's just like shaking her head. I wish I'd had Eric's wisdom. What
Well,
did he do?
we didn't have his son.
The Baron kind of like has one of those epiphany moments, like, oh man, I didn't even think of that. And he says, are all of you from Tengaria?
Yes.
no.
I am.
No.
Nope.
Born and raised. I
I
have
was also
family
born
here.
and raised in Tungaria.
Yes.
Well, it's probably best you hold off on returning for a bit. You're welcome to stay here as long as you need. And of course, he sort of focuses for a moment on Val's robes and Ulfgar's chest piece. And he says, I'm sure there's plenty of work for you here in Ord.
But
Got any vampires in you killing?
He kind of froze his brow for a moment and kind of itches his chin, and he calls sort of to his left side, and a small boy sort of scrambles out, holding a large like leather tome, like book, very large. It almost looks kind of like a photo album, and the regent sort of hefts it up onto his lap and starts flipping through pages, and he seems to be sort of reading through, kind of running his finger across the pages as he does so, and he says, maybe.
Well, if you do, just let me know. Sort of my thing.
He kind of smiles and gives sort of a okay nod.
I thought daddy juice was kind of your thing.
Well, I have many things, believe it or not,
He's a man
more
of many
complex
things.
than the eye gives away.
By the way, compared to normal, how do I sound? Do I sound any better than normal?
Yeah,
sound
you
great.
sound
I'd say
really
so.
good.
Awesome.
No robot-y stuff at all.
That's always good.
Yeah, Adeline doesn't know what to do with herself now.
You can take a break. Like, maybe go on a vacation.
Vacation. I have family dead and missing.
Well, yeah,
can't
that's why
take a
you need a
vacation.
vacation.
Where are
for
they
that.
missing from? From Tangaria? Or were they
More like in
someplace else?
hiding where I can't even find them. Except I do have a sister in Brep, but I'd rather not go there.
Brep, you say?
Um, I'm gonna turn to the regent. Do you
Baron.
have an Baron? Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Do you have any information on the Black Rose?
He kind of frowns and he says very little. We know that the captured people are being taken via boat somewhere to the south in Tangaria. We know that wherever they're going is underground. And we know that primarily, almost exclusively the people that are being taken there don't come back. Or at least none have escaped so far that we've found.
And they're only acting within Tangaria.
Seems so for the time being, yes.
So it would be safe to assume that their activities are tied to the activities of the regent?
Logical conclusion to come to?
Are you concerned about Slurn taking Tangaria? And possibly
Concerned how?
possibly making a buy for Emperor and reuniting the Baronies?
Well, that's not necessarily a concerning thought. Reuniting would be beneficial. But no, I don't think that's the aspiration that he has. Grawl is a shrewd leader, but he's not going to spread himself that thin.
After thinking to myself for a while, I also kind of look up and I'm like, oh, and also undead. If you got a lot of undead you need killing, I also do that.
He kind of looks to you and smiles and says, "Yes, there are most certainly undead to kill here. There's undead to kill pretty much everywhere."
Undead capital of the world.
Yeah, well, I mean, if there's like a whole bunch of them or something, just like, just let me know.
Yeah, he kind of, again, he just sort of smiles at you and says, "I'll have someone bring you the concerns of our citizen."
I nod and then I take a swig of daddy juice.
Do you know if you have a Warlock Club headquarters here in Ord?
A warlock club?
Ulfgar just face palms. Even harder.
Yeah.
Unless that's secret, and I shouldn't say.
Wink twice if it's secret.
Baron just kind of stares at you for a moment and then says, "I don't think so."
Okay, good.
Good daddy juice sound effects, whoever that was.
That was me.
I'm gonna go contact or try to contact the Warlock Club in my spare time.
What about a Warlock Guild?
That might be it too. I don't quite remember.
The Baron kind of shrugs and says, "Possibly, such things are not regulated in Ord."
Okay, cool. So you're cool about magic here?
Why wouldn't we be?
Okay. I'm just wondering, a whole lot of, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull out my drawing of Michael, and this is probably a long shot, but do you recognize this man? And I'm gonna show it to the Baron.
He kind of looks it over and hands it back to you and says, "No."
Okay.
I say, and while we're at it, any good places to get your hair cut?
Oh, of course. Yes. If you need a haircut, I have a person for that.
When you
Good.
get your haircut, be sure to go back home.
Hopefully this isn't a silly request, but you wouldn't happen to have a library that we could have access to?
Well, there's the like sort of the main library in town. Yes.
Oh.
I have my personal library, but that's personal library.
You wouldn't happen to have anything on the Black Rose, or
He sort of he shakes his head and says, "Very likely not. From what we've gathered, it's not a very old section of or sect of the people.
Hmm.
We don't have any evidence that leads us to believe that it's very old. Why, do you have some?
I found some information while we were rep. No. Lumder that that says that Moss Isley was actually the stronghold of the Black Rose previously, before the orcs took it over.
Very interesting
and that
indeed.
was, I think that was quite a while ago. I can tell you there's a sewer full of orc piss under it. Other than
Beneficial.
that, yeah.
That's where I found Aaron and these people.
Not in the sewer. Just
No, in the stronghold.
At Mos
I-
Eisley.
You were in the sewer, though.
Oh, and currently Moss Isley is vacated of the orcs.
Oh, well, that's always good to know.
Would it be possible to receive updates on the goings on of the Slurn campaign in Tingaria?
Sure. Yeah, I should be kept up to date on it as well. So could pass that along to you if you are so inclined.
That would be much appreciated.
Yeah.
Well, unless my companions have any more questions, I don't think.
Do you have a way you contact the Baron of Slurn? What was his name?
Groll.
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 Yeah. Because we have possible information to give him. If he is,
Possible information.
well, like the Moss Isley thing, and maybe to find out how exactly he is planning on advancing his army through Slurn, or through Tangaria. There are a lot of good people who would like to see the regent gone, but
I
not at
can
the
imagine.
cost. But not at the cost of their own lives.
Well, I don't think anyone would like that.
Is he
Nor of-
honorable?
Nor of their lands.
Well, he's efficient.
That's nowhere near honorable. um,
I would say, scorched earthing his way across Tangaria is not his strategy. That said, I mean, I don't know specifically what his strategy is, but slaying innocent civilians isn't going to get him very far. Especially not if Tangaria is to become a part of Slurn.
Yes, but what if the regent is the type to destroy everything, so when he gets there, there will be nothing to take?
Well,
Oof.
that is definitely a concern. It's a good thing that he doesn't know that it's coming yet, right?
Right.
And there's no one now to warn him of such, and he kind of glances at the slowly cooling body of Aaron.
I get off my cell phone after calling the region. I'm like, wait, what? Sorry.
Is that a secret?
You wouldn't happen to know if there are any missionaries of Kamadu here in Ord?
Kamadu. Maybe in the south.
Is there a particular religion in Ord?
No, not really. None that are enforced, anyway.
Oh.
There are many religions in Ord. This isn't Balfar now.
Are you a religious man, sir?
Were you asking
Yes.
Wolfgar?
No, the Baron.
Have you heard the good word of Kamadu? No.
It's pretty great. A lot of buzzing.
Hopefully you're
I
not
could just
allergic to bees.
I could just
Adeline
drone
worships
on about it
Bahamut.
all day.
Oh man. Alright.
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
Oh
Man,
boy.
have you taken up the religion,
Yeah.
Ulfgar?
The Baron says no, but I have heard some buzz about it.
Oh, man.
I
Alright, well,
throw up on the spot.
guess it's time to roll initiative.
I did not actually throw up, by the way.
Goodness.
Pick your guns and wink at the Baron.
Hey, Baron.
Did Ulfgar convert to
Oh no.
He did
Would-
build the
would it
shrine,
be-
though.
Kamaduism?
I don't know, I guess. What are the other religions called? Like the official ones.
That is an excellent question that I don't have a solid, concrete answer for you.
That's fine.
Neither do I.
I worship Bahamut now, so.
Would anyone like to convert to my religion?
Or mine.
I think to both of those, there's just a resounding no
Yeah, pretty much no.
in like a Scooby-Doo moment.
Can
That's Ulfgar's deity.
Oh.
Scooby-Doo?
Yeah, the cool deity.
can Punchista be my patron?
A warlock patron?
Yeah. Can I convert?
That's just daddy
Oh,
juice.
yeah.
I don't think Punchista is not like a demonic god, so
Well, they don't have to be.
great
I'll
old one.
negotiate with her. I'll talk with her.
Alright,
Have a
See
chat.
how she's feeling.
Yeah.
cool.
Feel it out. Feel it out.
I kind of mention to you, I won't be able to talk to her until the next time I'm in the ring.
Yeah.
Is Punchista just a manifestation of concussions?
No, just fighting with your fists and stuff.
Right.
A little bit of sweat.
Sure.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. She kind of shares that domain with a few others.
Do we have any more questions for the Baron, or?
Probably.
I mean, we
I'll-
could go
I'll-
on for days.
Any
I'll give you,
relevant questions for the Baron?
I'll give you a couple
probably
minutes
not.
to think of them because I'll be right back.
Okay, so number one question: what's your favorite color?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get
Number
some
two
coffee. I'll be back.
question: what's the color of your underwear right now?
Bathroom break.
And number three: are you willing to convert to the religion of my God and Savior Punchista?
Damn. Silent treatment.
Well, Scott's gone.
Yeah, I know.
Are we actually taking a break? I don't usually drink if we are.
Go for it.
Drinks?
I just flew in, and boy, are my arms tired.
Oof. Yeah?
Do you get it?
Yeah. Yeah, I sure do.
Dope.
It's because you were flapping with your arms to fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sure is a funny joke right there.
I do love me some fun joke. Yeah.
Yeah. I love me some funny jokes as well. Like this one time, wasn't that funny?
Oh. Hubba hubba.
No. Man,
What?
I'm back.
Welcome back.
hi back.
My arms are tired because I just flew in. Yuck.
Yuck, yuck. Too
Did
bad I
everybody
can't.
take off for a break?
Yeah.
Aw, shucks.
Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Oh.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. No, I think we're only
Any
on
fresh
Joe's.
questions?
Yeah.
3.
Color.
Favorite color of his underwear, and does he want to convert religion?
No to all three.
Wait. That's suspect.
What?
He's not wearing